sobbing and saying there were men in the trees. And a lot of people look back on this incident later that he was having some type of LSD freakout. There's another interesting story where the assistant district attorney in New Orleans in October of 1963 had a young man visit him asking about the legality of importing LSD into the country, and he said he had a source for it. The only source at that time was the CIA.
Mm-hmm.
A month later, this district attorney, Ed Gillen, was shocked to see that the same guy who had visited him was none other than Lee Harvey Oswald, who had been picked up on the Kennedy assassination. So when we talk about these lone nuts and patsies, in a lot of cases they appear as if they've been tampered with MK-Ultra wise. Sirhan is another prime example.
There's speculation that is coming out now that Sirhan did not act alone. What is your take on that?
This has come out in the last decade or so. People doing research, and it's much like the JFK assassination. When you look at the shots that have been fired and the distance they've been fired, the trajectory where they're coming from, particularly in Oswald's case and Sirhan, it appears there was another shooter that at point blank range. Sirhan wasn't at point blank range. There was a security officer a security guard basically that many suspect fired the fatal shot. Who knows if exactly what Sirhan did. He, prior to the assassination, he met the infamous girl in the polka-dotted dress who handed him a cup of coffee there in the Ambassador Ballroom, and he was very vague about what exactly he did after that.
So do you think Sirhan was the scapegoat, as so many believe that Lee Harvey Oswald was in the case of President Kennedy?
I do. I'm careful when I say I believe certain things about conspiracy theories, because I don't like to totally close off any alternate theories, keep my mind open. But you do. I suspect if we're going to go from, percentage-wise, probably 90% convinced that he was a scapegoat.
Adam, in your opinion, no, this is just your opinion, so I'm not putting you on the cross. What is the greatest conspiracy that you have seen?
Well, I think this isn't might not be too sexy for some people, but well, I'll give you the most compelling and that really set things in motion is the Kennedy assassination. Of course, because what it did to our country, it looked like Kennedy was getting ready to pull us out of Vietnam, and there was a total switch there, and we become the military-industrial complex keepers of the world, As far as the most interesting, mind-blowing conspiracy theory, and I read about this a bit in the book, is Happy Trails to High Weirdness, is this theory about Tuesday Weld being a Illuminati high priestess of all things, who kind of engineered the 60s counterculture and oversaw the whole Illuminati network. A pretty mind-blowing thing to wrap your head around, but this is information that came from a source by the name of Jeff Turner, a very colorful character who I write about in the book. So perhaps the most compelling is the JFK conspiracy. Perhaps the most fun is this Tuesday Weld Illuminati high priestess conspiracy.
There seems to be a number of uncanny coincidences when it comes to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy and the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. For example, Abraham Lincoln was elected to Congress in 1846. Kennedy was elected to Congress in 1946. Lincoln was elected president in 1860. Kennedy was elected president in 1960. The name Lincoln and Kennedy each contain 7 letters. Both were particularly concerned with civil rights. Both wives lost children while living in the White House. Both presidents were shot on a Friday. Both were shot in the head. Lincoln's secretary, Kennedy, warned him not to go to the theater. Kennedy's secretary, Lincoln, warned him not to go to Dallas. Both were assassinated by Southerners. Both were succeeded by Southerners. Both successors were named Johnson. Andrew Johnson, who succeeded Lincoln, was born in 1808. Lyndon Johnson, who succeeded Kennedy, was born in 1908. John Wilkes Booth was born in 1839. Lee Harvey Oswald was born in 1939. Both assassins were known by their 3 names. Both names are comprised of 15 letters. Booth ran from the theater and was caught in a warehouse. Oswald ran from a warehouse and was caught in a theater. Both Oswald and Booth were assassinated before their trials. Is this sheer coincidence, or was this careful planning?
Oh, man. Yeah, that's a mind blower, all those quote-unquote coincidences, synchronicities. Certain conspiracy researchers, say there is a grand design, and they use numerology in certain places. I've written a bit about a guy named James Shelby Downard who had this very sophisticated theory that the Freemasonry was behind the Kennedy assassination and a bunch of other critical events, and they were all perpetrated on the 33rd degree latitude, which if you trace across the country goes straight through Daley Plaza, and there was the number 3 came up again and again in the Kennedy assassination. So perhaps these are much more than a coincidence. One thing that came to mind, I'm not sure that Lincoln had as many girlfriends as Kennedy.
That is true. And, when we come back from the news, I'd like to talk to you about the Kennedy-Monroe connection. Adam, great having you back with us. We'll have to do this more often, friend. Adam Gorightly is our special guest, Exonation, www.adamgorightly.com. Just another reminder, I'll be the Master of Ceremonies at the Body, Soul, Spirit Expo being held at the International Center in Toronto, actually Mississauga, 6900 Airport Road in Mississauga, May 25th until the 27th. We're giving away 2,500 DVDs that have the April and May editions of the X Chronicles, some of our most asked for interviews, videos, and much more. That's May 25th to 27th at the International Center, 6900 Airport Road in Mississauga, Ontario. For more information, www.bodysoulspiritexpo.com. My name's Rob McConnell. We'll be back after the news. Don't go away. Are you considering calling a psychic to read your situation? Then consider David Champion, a psychic medium for more than 20 years with thousands of readings under his belt. David Champion will make you feel comfortable. He has proven to be honest and accurate. He's a straight shooter. There's no guesswork. What he sees is what you get. While he is a medium, most of the calls focus on relationships, not only love, but work, school, neighbors, and more. Need help with finding a job and preparing for the interview? Are you dealing with people who are obstacles in your path? For more information, go to davidchampion.com, $1.50 per minute paid by credit card with a minimum of 30 minutes. For your reading with David Champion, call 1-877-702-8598. That's 1-877-702-8598. Now you can dial in to listen to the X Zone Radio Show from anywhere in the world with Rob McConnell 24/7, 365 by dialing 213-401-0080. That's 213-401-0080. If you have a mobile phone or landline, the X Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell is now at your beck and call at 213-401-0080. That's 213-401-0080, 24/7, 365.
My name is Michael Telstar, Canada's leading mentalist from Toronto, Ontario.
Hi, my name is Splenda, and you're listening to my dad, Rob McConnell, on the X-Zone.
This is Psychic Dorothy from St. Catharines, and you're listening to Rob McConnell.
Hello, my name is Holly Reeves, an astrologer from Astro For You, and you're listening to Canada's #1 paranormal radio show, The X Zone, with Rob McConnell.
Welcome to The X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Tracker. Tom was a man with dreams, and Ernie came along and I wrote the songs about a creature that few's ever seen. Monsters, myths, and mysteries, legend, tales, and facts. It brought us all together, and it's a reason for the fact. Up in North California, where the redwoods reach the skies, 3 men with a gold and a pact that they'd hold, and a promise till the day that they died. Answers to the question.
Welcome back, everyone. My guest this hour is Adam Gorightly, and his website is www.adamgorightly.com. Before we went to the commercial break, Adam, we were talking about the conspiracy theories, and of course the one that always pops up is the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. And when you look at the Kennedy family, you know, Dad Joe Kennedy wasn't a real honest guy, and, you know, there's questions there. And then Bobby and John kind of had a fling going with Marilyn Monroe. J. Edgar Hoover was after their tails, but you've got a guy who here with J. Edgar Hoover who used to like to wear ballet tutus. So, you know, who's wrong here? You know, was there a connection between the death of Marilyn Monroe and the Kennedys?
You know, once again, the smoking gun we don't really have on that, but it's interesting to note that, yeah, you had Marilyn die in a suicide. You know, that's a pretty convenient cover of getting rid of somebody. Yeah. You also had Mary Pinchot Meyer. Are you familiar with her?
No, I'm not.
Oh, well, another one of JFK's girlfriends, whose husband was Cord Meyer of the CIA. And if you believe some reports, it appears that Mary Pinchot Meyer, she was good friends with Timothy Leary, had access to LSD, and might have very well turned JFK on. And, of course, you know, that's a paradigm shatterer for people who've experimented with LSD. It puts you in a state of mind where you're at one with the universe and you see there's no reason for war. But anyway, Mary Pinchot Meyer, shortly after JFK got his cranium catapulted across Dealey Plaza, she was also murdered in Washington, D.C. by... well, they pinned it on a African-American guy who they said was some type of thief or something, but many people suspect that Mary Pinchot Meyer, like Marilyn Monroe, might have been privy to certain information that did them in. And, yeah, as you noted, it appears that both JFK and RFK were intimate with Marilyn, and all of them are gone. All of them died in very violent, well, not Marilyn, but everybody else died in pretty violent ways.
when it comes to the UFO, what do we call it? A UFO clique, clan, club? Going back 20 years ago, I think that the UFO community had a lot more credibility when I first started this show. Now,
Me too.
now it's like they're a bunch of yahoos. They remind me now of the CB radio clubs of the 70s. There doesn't seem to be anybody out there with a lot of credibility that